number 2 to understanding the last days prophecies. Key number 2 is this: watch the conflict over the land of Israel. Now you understand from your Bibles that God made a covenant with Abraham. He made a covenant there in Genesis chapter number 12. He said, Abraham, you're going to have a great people that are going to come out of you. You're going to have a son, and you're going to have a nation. There's going to be a multitude of people that come out of you. And you're going to have a great name. And your people are going to have great protection. And they're going to have great provision. And the Messiah is going to come who will bless the entire earth. And you will have a land for your people. They became a great multitude. All those promises were fulfilled. The Messiah has come through the Jewish people. They have the land. But isn't it strange today, as I said just a few minutes ago, that when you think about the history of the Jewish people, they are by far the most hated people in all of history. Isn't it strange? If I was to bring to you a list today of all the people, all the nations that have tried to exterminate the Jews, I would not be able to bring it to you because we don't have enough time to go through that entire list. It is staggering. As we look back through biblical history, we understand that Haman in Esther wanted to wipe out the Jews. As we look into our history, we understand that the Nazis wanted to wipe out the Jews. We understand as we look through history that Islam has always wanted to wipe out the Jews. And today, Muslim countries are actually placing it within their documents that their very stated purpose is to wipe the Jewish nation off of the map. The Palestinian terrorist group Hamas has said that their goal is to wipe Israel off the map. And they are the ones that are shooting hundreds and even thousands of rockets into Jerusalem. Last week you may have seen some of those videos. It was just unnerving and unbelievable to watch the night sky being lit up with hundreds and hundreds of rockets, and those rockets being met by Patriot missile systems to hit them in the air and detonate them and bring them down so that they could do the least amount of harm. But it was incredible to see this hatred, if you will, personified in the idea that a group of people could just set rockets off and indiscriminately launch them into another country and not care at all where they land. And as I was doing this lesson, I was appalled to understand that even Google hates Israel. If you look at the Palestinians in Israel, if you search and Google about any of this, you're going to get pages and pages and pages that will basically tell you Israel is bad. Israel is the aggressor. Israel does not belong in the land. Palestinians are good. They are just trying to get some space to live in, and they're good people, and they're just fighting for freedom. And Google hates Israel, upholds the Palestinians, and puts down the Israelites. But there's a huge difference between Palestinians and Hamas and Israel. Huge difference. Hamas just indiscriminately, as I said, lights rockets into the city, not caring where they go or who they kill. When Israel struck back after these rockets were sent into their land, they would call ahead. They would make phone calls to the buildings that they were going to hit with their planes. And they would say, you've got a certain amount of time to get out. They did not want to kill them, but they had to retaliate in some way to say, you can't shoot rockets into our land and have us do nothing. But the world would have you think that Israel is the enemy. Israel is the bad guy. But it is not true. There is a seething hatred that is rising up. And so we say, what is all this hatred about? What is this history, this thousands of years of hatred? What is this present day hatred that we see towards Israel? What is it all about? If you were to ask the Palestinians and you were to ask others, they would tell you what it's about. They would say it's about the land. It's about the land. They would say Israel does not belong on the land. Israel should leave the land. We should have the land. They say it's not fair that Israel has it. But listen, I'm going to tell you what it's really about. It is about the land. But not just about the fact that the Palestinians want the land. It is a spiritual dynamic behind the scenes concerning the land. It is satanic. What Satan knows is this, that end-time prophecy revolves around the idea that the Jewish people are in the land. And Satan knows if they are not in the land, then certain prophecies cannot come to pass. And so what Satan is doing is he's trying to thwart end-time prophecy. He's trying to fight Israel out of the land so that he could stop and prolong, and thinking in his twisted mind that he can somehow overcome what God has already prophesied. So church, watch in these coming days. Watch for the intensity of hatred against Israel to rise. Watch for an intensity to push Israel out of the land arise. Watch for new levels of conflict.